Our everyday lives require more and more electrical support. Whether it is charging our phone, running our lights, keeping our furnace on, or even the new influx of electric cars that require a charge to drive. This electric consumption will continue to grow even as technology improves electronic efficiency. One of the newest sources and arguably cleanest source of electrical power is solar power. There is little limit to what the sun has to offer in regards to solar power. In fact, the United States of America is only the third largest market in solar power consumption and creation. This shows that we are in an age of solar power recognition. This recognition is mostly due to the limited amount of negative externalities amidst a much larger quantity of positive externalities. As more power companies and countries get invested into solar power, more transactions will be internalized while eliminating externalities. The easiest answer to the question, what is solar power, is simply the use of the sun to create power. Consuming the sun in a sense. Many things have harnessed the sun before the creation of the solar cell in 1954, none in a way that would compare to our current and future use of clean and renewable energy. With 173,000 terawatts of solar energy at constant supply, it's no wonder scientists are intrigued. This power source is being harnessed through the use of solar panels, such as the ones you see in the picture on the right. Thanks to today's technology, we have the ability to create solar panels in many different sizes. Some are placed on the roof of businesses, or even the roofs of houses as pictured on the right. These can then be attached to microgrids like houses, large-scale power grids like commercial power companies, and in some cases, large-scale batteries to create a backup power supply, or even a more steady distribution of power. There are even fields that have been set up to harness the sun's potential through the use of solar power plants as pictured on the right. These are then routed to the main grid and distributed like any other source of power. As stated previously, the sun supplies a potential of 173,000 terawatts of solar energy. Of this, globally we only utilize 1%. In fact, the United States of America as of 2008 only used about 1.2 gigawatts of this potential, yet it has risen to 30 gigawatts as of 2015. A huge increase, yet a tiny utilization of the potential. In fact, according to the United States Department of Energy in 2016, the United States' biggest power source is coal, at an annual use of 1,240 gigawatts, a dramatic amount more than solar power. In fact, the graph on the right shows the difference. Due to the use of coal being so high, solar power is barely even on the graph. This measly 30 gigawatts is still enough to make the United States the third largest market in the world for solar power production and consumption. This is where companies like Sunshot start to play their part in the big picture. With solar power coming from the sun and being harnessed through solar powers, it is capable of being distributed from the main grid. The main grid is better known as the traditional transmission and distribution grid. These are what run the majority of power throughout the world. Your basic power supplied to a substation or transmission station and then distributed throughout a region. Sometimes the access is sold to other states. What is unique to solar panels is the ability to run a microgrid, also known as distributed generation grid. Energy Alabama describes this as a smaller generation of power that can be done at the location of a consumer's house or business. This way, solar panels can be added to the roof of the building, wired into a large-scale battery, a small transmission system, and routed directly into the consumer's building. This is known as an off-the-grid system that is ran by the consumer. The United States Department of Energy stated in 2007 that there were 12 million microgrids, although no claims as to how much is solar panel. The higher price of solar power solutions is keeping the demand low, whereas coal is a low and steady price, keeping it the largest power provider in the United States. In 2011, Sunshot Initiative was started, which is a project focused on lowering the price of solar power to create more demand. Their goal is to get the price down to 3 cents per kilowatt hour by 2030, which is a solid decrease from the 23 cents per kilowatt hour in 2011. When discussing externalities of solar power, it is difficult to find any valid negative externalities. You could stretch to say that the solar panels are an eyesore. Granted, any form of coal, oil, or other natural gas companies could see a negative externality of losing business due to the renewable, clean power source that is solar power. When it comes to pollution, solar power passes with flying colors, due to not producing not even CO2 emissions are created by solar power. On the other hand, positive externalities are rather easy to find. Anyone who reroutes or access solar power into the main grid gives everyone not involved cheaper power prices. Companies like Avista have a program for consumers to install their own solar panel and reroute excess into the grid. This is then used to lower power prices, although the largest scale positive externality is the lack of pollution. As negative power sources are eliminated, the entire world will benefit from the solar power's clean emissions. This means an entire country can go green, and it would benefit all the countries who have yet to follow. This will take decades for every country to install clean sources such as solar power, meaning that the positive externalities will be around for years until all transactions are internalized. Internalizing transaction brings everyone into the transaction and removes any externalities. The best way we could start to internalize transaction is through tax cuts and income tax deductions. In fact, some countries and states have already started this. Idaho, in fact, has a 40% of cost deduction that can be claimed through your income taxes the first year. As this continues, power companies will begin to install solar panels, bringing all of their customers into the transaction. This could then spread to entire continents adapting, much like Europe has. As seen on the right, Europe has already set in motion a plan for clean, renewable energy sources. In conclusion, solar power is our future, and it will continue to grow as the cleanest power source available. It is easy to see the trend gradually get more popular as even companies such as Tesla are creating roof tiles that are solar panels, at what they say will be a price cheaper than a regular roof. The United States may be the third largest market for solar power, but initiatives like Sunshot will ensure that the utilization of solar power will continue. With low emissions and a large amount of positive externalities, more countries and even continents will continue to plan and expand their clean power source as Europe is. These tax cuts and forward-thinking plans will eventually bring all consumers into the transaction.